I've recently been looking at church chests. It's one of those objects we think every church has, or had, and as I've travelled the country looking at churches, I've discovered and recorded many hundreds. The vast majority date from the 17th and 18th centuries, although medieval examples do survive. I've been particularly interested recently in a group of very early chests dating from the 13th century, and I'd like to share them with you as I think they make a very interesting case study. We all need somewhere to store our valuables, and churches are no exception. We know they had chests from an early date. In the 11th century, Archbishop Elfric mentioned chests and said they should be regarded as sacred items. Most were dug-out, hollowed tree trunks. This is one of the earliest that we know of at the church of Rayleigh in Essex. It's dated to about 1150 and is of the simplest form possible. Large trees were in much demand for other purposes, and so we developed a new form of chest that built up using planks. This example is at Hindringham in Norfolk and has an architectural detail on it showing blank Romanesque arcading, just as you would find on the outside of buildings. It dates from the mid-12th century. In 1166, Henry II started making collections for the Crusades. He ordered that a chest should be placed in every church for this purpose. This one at Graveney in Kent has very finely incised decoration. It's no longer Romanesque in style, but Gothic. This dates from about 1200. In this year, Pope Innocent III built on the idea started by Henry II and sent out a general mandate for offertory chests to be placed in churches across Europe. This chest at Bloxham in Oxfordshire is about 1200 as well, but it's much plainer than those we've seen before. Its outstanding feature are its carved legs, showing a demi-quatrefoil. We find these on a range of chests across England. They must have been made by the same workshop. The finest of the surviving chests is here at Chichester Cathedral. We've got exactly the same setup with the quatrefoil legs, but above them, on the side of the chest, are these three circular decorations, which become quite a symbol of work of this period. This chest is also in Chichester Cathedral, but it was originally in Felpham Church in West Sussex. We've lost the elaborately carved legs, but have retained the three circular details, which we find again here at Earl Stonham in Suffolk, probably the best example of its type, made up of three wooden panels, which, as you can see, are riveted together by 6 enormous pins. Back at Chichester Cathedral is the largest of this group of chests, which originally came from the parish church of Climping. It combines both the circular decorations and blank architectural arcading in the early English style. By the middle of the 13th century, chests were becoming larger and more elaborate. But rather than stick with the tried and tested technique of incised decoration, decoration was now made up almost exclusively of applied wrought ironwork, as we can see here at Wootton Waugh in Warwickshire. It's a much more elaborate structure than any chest we've seen before, and really paves the way for the development of the chest into much grander affairs by the 14th century. We've only looked at a handful of 13th century church chests that I've discovered on the course of my travels, but I'm sure you can see what an important part they play in the story of the English parish church, and by studying their design and decoration we can learn so much more about the lives of our ancestors and the role they played in the story of our churches.